So I was gifted with seeing that.
Yeah.
I seen it on my daughter when she was 14 years old. And so it scared me really bad. So anyway, I took some of my artificial medicine. So I start smudging her.
Yeah.
Because I always smudge from the head down and out back out the feet because everything comes through your feet.
Yeah.
Back out through her feet. But I couldn't take it all off of her. And so as she got older, she was in college and she got pregnant and she lost her first child. And then she got pregnant again, she lost her second child. And I'm like, so I started questioning the Creator. Like, why did you do this? Why?
Yeah.
Why did you take these kids without even letting them see, the creation that you put here for them?
Yeah.
And anyway, something came through me. I felt it
Yeah.
come up on me. It was like something I couldn't control.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I started talking after my grandson passed away. Something came through me, and I gave a speech. And I don't even remember what I said. And I was standing outside, and people came to me and said, we were waiting for that message. I go, what are you guys talking about? What you just said. I said, I didn't remember. I've been out here. They go, no, Inker, you were just in there. And you gave us the message.
Yeah.
And so what I can remember of when my grandson was passing at the moment, and his grandmother on his grandmother on his dad's side said, well, should we close the windows? I said, no, open the windows wide. I said, because there was a big silver oak up by where the bedroom was at.
Yeah.
And all these I'm telling you all factual stuff, what really happened. So this silver oak, all the leaves flipped upside down
Uh-huh.
and looked like angel wings
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
coming down to get him. And it came to me later on, the Spirit came to me again and told me, Inker, I'll let you know why I took these children. These children became because your daughter had that on her. And they sacrificed themselves for her. They said the 5 minutes, the 15 days that they lived,
Yeah.
they lived your lifetime or your lifetime. They came here to do what they had to do
Yeah.
for their mother,
Wow.
to take that whatever was on her, off of her.
Yeah.
And so I did have that
Yeah.
high spiritual experience
Yeah.
through the Creator coming through me and talking to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
I mean, it's kind of emotional for me,
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
But I think the Creator kind of gifted me.
He did.
Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not just for speech, but some people may or may not like me. Some people, because I do all kinds of other things, and
Yeah.
I was like, well, why you question this? Why? I was like, what if I wasn't here? Who would do it if I wasn't here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but anyway, that was probably my. And so my daughter has 5 children now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they came to take whatever was on her that I couldn't take off her,
Yeah.
and to let her other children come into her life,
Yeah.
because she could have perished for that moment.
Mhm.
But that's why they came and took it off. And I got some great grandkids from her. I got 5 grandchildren.
Nice. That's amazing.
Yeah. But I got 25 grandchildren too. So I'm gifted with children. And
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like, yeah, it's like really an abundant life,
It
and to have all
is.
this family, and
yeah.
and you've now, become an elder for all of these
Yeah.
Yeah.
people, and you carry these messages, and
Yeah.
you share this wisdom. It's really very special.
And so I used to work in high school too, and so I was an outreach consultant. So I worked with kids that had, like that didn't like school. So my job was to find out why they didn't like school and to get them to want to come to school and help them be successful, just to try to help educate them in what their strengths were instead of what we try to force upon somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And so my job was to make sure that, hey, I would go to the teachers like, hey, like, why is this child failing in your class? Well, he's not doing this or this or this. I said, are you stepping aside when you're doing your presentations and then finding out why they're not doing this? Because there's reasons why. Some are visual, some are hands-on, some are audio. Some there's different ways of teaching. And some kids don't want to be forced into a society that we're trying to force upon them.
Yes.
I said, what we're trying to do is want them to learn and find out who they are, and then they'll educate themselves, because we can help do the reading part and do whatever. I said, but then once they kind of find out who they are, we find their strengths. All their weaknesses will catch up to that strength. If we focus them on that strength, then you put success on them instead of failure, because you're putting failure on them first, saying, oh, they're getting an F. Like, why would I want to school if I'm going to get an F at school? Like, what am I really learning? You're not really teaching me nothing about, So I would go out and get them jobs of something they really enjoyed, and they would actually earn a little bit of money, because a lot of these kids weren't very wealthy. They lived back in the mountains. They'd come with dirty clothes and weren't very clean, and some just weren't, didn't have a friend to talk to, or just somebody being there for them at that time. And that was my job to help do that. And so I had a bunch of kids that live way in these mountains, and they didn't want to come to school. So I was like, my parents were like, well, we don't have washers or dryers. So I said, hey, will you close up? I got a big industrial washer and dryer down at school. We're going to go down there this weekend. We'll wash all your clothes and fold them up, put them in boxes, and you guys will be good for a couple weeks. And them kids never missed a day of school. Once that happened. It just took a little bit of why they weren't there. But then I would tell the teachers, teachers used to hate me. And so I well, why is this student failing your class? Well, they're not doing this or this. I was like, well, if you're giving a student a failing grade in your class, aren't you failing as a teacher? Why would you say that? If I have a kid that's failing in my class, my job is to make sure that I find out the reason why, to help him to be successful. And I'll find out his strengths. So I used to be kind of a high school coach, kind of a famous high school coach too. Because I took kids to the state finals and all kinds of stuff. Like this little bitty town, we played teams out of LA and all these, the high. So anyway, but what I would do, so I had these really highly educated kids in my class, would be like on a roll, college prep students, and then I had some really great athletes, or weren't that great students, were probably at the 2.0 average. So in my practices, I integrated them all the time. I would be doing my drills, but my kids that were really athletic would be showing my kids that are not that athletic, but still really intelligent. They'd be working together. And then I said, well, hey, this seems to be working, and we're doing really successful. I said, now, you guys in class need to help each other. So they all got together. They study together, help each other. And so they were at a 3.5 GPA. We were number 6 in the state of California for the highest GPA, because we all not help each other in the basketball court. We help each other in the classroom, and we utilize each other's energies to help each other. And so I have a gift. I had a gift to that. I still have a gift to that, but just kind of I don't know. I've had a really interesting life.
It is. It's really interesting. Yeah, so many different facets.
I know people said, you should write a book about yourself. Oh, I said, when I put my arm out here and I put my arm out here, I'm the book.
Yeah, there you go.
I said, I'd rather have you talk to you and not read about me. But talk to me as that book, because I do have knowledge to give to people, and people have knowledge to give to me. Because, I'm like a sponge too.
Yeah.
We all have a learning curve, and we all have to, because if we don't learn every day, we go dormant.
Yeah.
So I always want to learn something new every day, and so that's what I always tell people when they come here. It's like I talk to them in Hoopa language, like, "Well, I thought I knew everything." No,
Yep.
I don't know everything, because I hear every kind of language here. Because I have people from all over the world that come here, and
Yeah.
so some people I can understand, like German people, I can
Yeah.
understand them.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but when they start talking, they'll be talking about the fire or this or that, like, like they go, "Speak any Dutch?"
Yeah.
No, like I just know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird. But I kind of read,
Yeah. We're communicating through
You read the
frequencies.
energy.
the frequency energies and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's just human nature to learn how to, communicate with even animals and birds and
Yeah.
everything. Like because we all had multi-language one before, so we all kind of,
Mhm.
this is how we perceive each other, I guess.
Yeah.
And by the look on people's face too, sometimes.
Yeah.
And I say 95%, or I'd say 99% of people that come here are pretty good. But I do get that 1%
Yeah.
of, I'm not rude to them, but what I tell them is like, the road goes up that way, it goes up that way, and go out that way.
Yeah.
I had one gentleman come up here, he was with his wife, and she was like, well, how much is it for a night here? I said, well, it's $20 a night. And the guy's on the other side, he goes, $20 a night? What the hell? He goes, that's way too expensive. She goes, no, it ain't. And he goes, bullshit. He goes, after we gave him all this land right here, he goes, now we're going to charge us $20?
Oh my God.
I'm like, I said, thank you, sir. And I said, thank you for giving us all this land. I said, but the road goes that way and goes out that way.
Yeah.
And his wife, she kind of had this big old hat. She grabbed her hat and she goes like,
Oh no.
she's like,
Yeah.
she kind of sunk way down in her seat.
Yeah.
She actually came back and apologized to me.
Yeah.
She goes, I'm so sorry. My husband is so ignorant of what things are about.
Yeah.
She goes, I love him to death, but sometimes like, yeah, I get embarrassed. I said, it's okay. I said, you're all good. I could tell by you when you kind of sunk down. She goes, yeah. She goes, I got so embarrassed.
Yeah, she's on quite a journey accompanying him in this life and,
Yeah.
helping out along the way.
Yeah, I'd say probably out of 10,000 people, maybe that one out of that 10,000 people.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
You go any place any race too. I
Yeah.
mean, you're gonna run into assholes at any kind of race, no matter who they are, whatever they're gonna. So, but most people here, yeah, they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
They feel comfortable here. They feel like they're safe here. Not only just coming to camp, but they just kind of feel safe and spiritually.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been going to sleep early, so we actually haven't been able to stay up and
Oh, see now.
see anything. Yeah, so it's been
Well,
interesting.
that's good, right? Going to sleep early and kind of
Yeah.
relaxing. and
Yeah,
just like,
it
really
is.
good.
you know,
Yeah,
It's been
I'm
very
just surprised. Like
rejuvenating,
8, 9. I'm like falling asleep by the fire.
you kind of,
Yeah. Well, it gives me a quiet time. I have one battery, maybe another one. So it's recording still. So I thought I would reserve it to film whatever you want to talk about. Bigfoot, Big Brother. I'll have that on film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have an agenda. Just
Yeah, we don't have an agenda. We just really enjoy having a conversation with you. And like we said, I'm reading the Hoopa book right now, and it's just
Yeah.
really interesting. Like, I think there were some references to this campground
Oh, yeah.
as well,
yeah.
and just really interesting to see where everything is and
So
Bigfoot
I
Valley.
have a son. He's actually in the book. His name is Romeo.
yeah.
Okay.
So he's a doubter about everything. He don't believe in nothing. So, and my older son, He's kind of more like me, more of a visionary.
Yeah.
But he's my 34. He's 34, but when he was younger, he's like, "You didn't see that, Dad. You're bullshitting." You're like, "You never let." You're like, so him and his brother went hunting one night,
Yeah.
and it talks about in the story. So him and his brother went hunting, and we're going down into the canyon area. But above there's caverns, and that's where I seen the mother and baby up on top where the caverns are at.
Yeah.
But he's seen it way down by the river on a highway. So they were my two sons were going hunting and they were driving on the road, and they seen this arm hanging on the road. He said it was big old arm, big black and
Yeah.
big like a human hand hanging offside this bluff on this like guardrail. And so anyway, they seen it going, and my oldest son goes, "Check it out!" And Romeo, check it out. He goes, and so anyway, they drove by it and they go, "Let's go back and look at it." And my other son Romeo goes, "I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look." He goes, "Grab that spotlight." He goes, and so they drove right up to it. From me to you, they had a spotlight on it.
Yeah.
And he said it was about 10 feet, standing up on the ground like that. It was like kind of holding on to the edge of the a bluff right there. It was like standing on like a rock ledge.
Yeah.
And I was standing looking at him. Anyway, man, I was sitting on the couch because I was like, I was watching TV, and I seen his car come down up the hill really fast and fly out of the yard, pull like, boom, 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 pop, open the door, and they come both sat right next to me. What are you guys doing, man?
Yeah.
I'm like, "Dad, we just seen it. It was down on the highway right there. It was standing on the highway, like was." And Rome goes, "Dad, I put a spot." It looked right at me. He goes, "Dad," he goes, "It made me freak out." He goes, "When it looked at me," he said, "It scared him."
Yeah.
And so he didn't believe in it till,
I saw it.
yeah. So with me and my sons, so I used to do a lot of spiritual dancing. So in our ceremonial dances,
Yeah.
and I entered them into it as a young age to the spiritual dancing. And so I said, well, when you're in these dances, you're opening up the pathways of spirituality in this life. I said, because you're dancing, and when you dance, you open that gateway of spiritual, because you're not in this world anymore. You went into the spiritual world.
Yeah.
And I told them, like, you guys will see things that you've never seen before, and feel things that you have never felt before. I said, you have to be prepared for it when you do see it. Anyway,
Yeah.
I talked to them about it, and yeah, they actually, they didn't want to talk about it to David, but they actually did. And then I raised this black kid too. He was probably like 6'7", about 250 pounds. He looked like Mr. Atlas, like this. He was could have went to play professional football, basketball.
Yeah.
Went with his family down south and got into drugs, and that was like,
Oh, no.
yeah. But anyway, my 25-year-old son now, he was 11 at the time. They were fishing on a creek. Anyway, they come running back up the house, and Dad, come check this out. Dad, come check it out, because he would call me Dad too, because
Yeah.
his dad passed away, so I kind of became his father.
Yeah.
But anyway, they come running down and was like, Dad, we found all these footprints down there. And we swear to God that thing was over in the bushes by us. So anyway, we all went, all my kids, we all went down there, and we found this 4 tracks that went across this kind of mud bog.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had a stick track with it, and it had a mountain lion tracks right next to it. Anyway, these tracks were probably like this long, and they're probably about this wide.
Yeah.
And so the kid that was 6'7", he had a size 18 foot,
Yeah. Jeez.
and he put his foot down by the thing, and it dwarfed his foot.
Wow.
I mean, his foot was like that much more narrower, and
Yeah.
probably that much more shorter.
Yeah.
Anyway, David Playas actually came and casted them,
Yeah.
and he's got my cast of my Bigfoot tracks.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we called. I said, "Hey, David, we got some tracks up here," and he goes, "Well, I got a show in Reno." I said, "Well, I don't know if I can make it." And so there was a guy listening to it in back there. He goes, "Hey, Dave, I can go take that. I can go up there right now. I'll leave right now."
Yeah.
And David Playas goes, "Bullshit." He goes, "You ain't taking my people's thing." He goes,
Yeah.
so he drove up that night.
Nice.
and actually did all the casting and all the stuff like that. And
Yeah.
he actually gave me some stuff for casting if we find anything else.
Mm.
But I haven't really had a experience after that.
Yeah.
It's been like probably 14 years. I have never
Yeah.
had a really experience, because I mean I go to mountains and stuff like that and go out, but because I used to go on these walks, I'll be gone for a day or so.
Yeah.
I just take off and just go find myself.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, but challenging myself. Like, hey, am I really not this person no more, or am I this person again? Or, just clear the pathways
Yeah.
for my spiritual part.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'd call them walkabouts.
That's some walkabouts, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I guess I have a curiosity or just kind of a question because I guess I lived out at Trinidad for 25 years, and I would go to just the Patrick's Point State
Mm-hmm.
Park, and during the wintertime, it's easy to be like the only person in there,
Yeah.
and I had just a number of experiences that I suspect were Bigfoot, but I don't know because I didn't see anything, But I'd be, like I would go kind of off trail and be walking through the park, and I'd hear like something big, like a jump, and it landed, like go behind me really fast and look and just see bushes moving.
Yeah.
Or one time I heard 2 owls, and they were coming from different directions, and they kept hooting and getting closer and closer. And then as they got closer, like it started not sounding like owls anymore. It'd be like somebody imitating owls,
Yeah.
like a deep voice imitating the owls. And then I had one experience in my house where something came in my house, and I was told by like a medium type person that that whatever it was looking for somebody that I knew that was at my house the night before, and this person was teaching me body work, because that's what we do, is like energy balancing, and this was me just beginning to get into this line of work. And this person was a rolfer, so he did like the deep tissue type stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of was doing like an apprenticeship with him, but he claimed to have been trained by a shaman, and in the end he ended up not being really a good person for me, just feeling like he took advantage of me. But anyways, he was at my house, and I made him dinner that night, and he asked if he could, he was too tired. We'd drank a little bit of wine, and he asked if he could just lay down for an hour before he went home and just kind of, like sober up and just rest his eyes and everything. And I said, sure, no problem. And I always slept with my door open in my bedroom, but that night, for some reason, I felt like,
Yeah, close it.
I better close my door. And it was about 5 in the morning, and I heard the front door open, and something really, really big and really heavy came in. I lived in a mobile home. Came into the mobile home, and like the house was shaking with each step, and it walked into the living room, and that's where he had been sleeping, was in the living room. And it walked down the hall to like where my door was, and then it turned around and walked back out. And I felt like an energy come over me that was like almost like a hand holding me down. Like I couldn't get out of bed even
Like
if I
paralyzed you.
wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was pretty frightening just because it was such a big presence.
Yeah.
And then I heard it leave, and it walked on the deck, and heard it jump through the bushes and left. And for 5 years I had no idea what it was, but just this question of like, what is this? And that's why I went to like a medium and asked some different, like spiritual people that might know. And then a friend of mine ran into the guy that I had been learning from, and he goes, "Oh, how's Wade, by the way? I think Bigfoot came into his house looking for me." And when I was caretaking the property up on Bald Hills, I invited him up there a number of times just to show him like it's a really it's like
Yeah.
a high vibrational place. It's like
Yeah.
the spring coming out of the mountain, and there's just the fresh air and the animals and everything. It's unbelievable. You got to see this place. It's like, no, I don't want to go up there. If I go up there and they see Bigfoot. And so he had, for some reason, I feel like he didn't have like a great relationship with them. But I have always felt like they're very. I mean, I don't know about all of them. I hear different stories of some being good and some being more
Yeah, there is.
bad.
Yeah.
But I've heard, so much of my experience has always felt like a positive presence. But that one time at my house was really quite a life changer, and just left me with this question,
Well, I'll tell you a story about my brother. So my brother was down by Witchpeck.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he was fishing at a fish net. They had a fire built.
Yeah.
So him and his friend were down at the fire. And he goes, well, keep the fire up. He goes, I'm going to go to sleep for a while. So they were both there, and he was, my brother said he was laying there asleep. And the guy who was with him, he said he was putting fire down, but he said his hand came over top of his back right here, put his hand over top of his shoulder, and had big hands that kept going like that. His fingers were huge, he said.
Yeah.
He just kind of went like that over his back. And he was there for over 2 hours like that. He said he couldn't move or couldn't be, he was paralyzed. Anyway, he said it started turning daylight and that thing took his hands off and disappeared.
Yeah.
And he finally moved and woke my brother up. He's like, let's get out of here. I don't want to ever come down here again.
Yeah.
I said, well, what happened? He said that thing came, put his arm right on my shoulder, and like I couldn't move. He goes, it started getting daylight and it left. He goes, I was paralyzed. But he never would go fishing there again, that kid.
Yeah.
Well, we still fish there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, different experience where people have, sometimes he will just put his presence on you. Sometimes he may come and touch you, just open that pathway for you.
Yeah.
Because you might have been clogged. Like,
Maybe,
how he was trying to heal you.
Yeah.
By what he touched you, he healed you just by putting that presence on you and opening that pathways to the spiritual world.
Yeah. And now, for the next 2 weeks, right outside my bedroom window, there was a hedge. And I look out there and I feel like I could see like an auric silhouette. Yeah. And the top of the hedge, leaves would shiver just right there.
Yeah, we was just doing that the second up there with me.
It was just doing that, then no wind, and the hedge wasn't moving anywhere else, but just this. And I would talk to her. I said, I think I see you, like.
Yeah.
Just
Well, they cloak, right?
Yeah. Like the movie Predator.
Yes.
Yeah.
They cloak.
Yeah.
I've seen them do it.
That's what that looked like.
When I seen the mother and the baby that time.
Yeah.
The baby cloaked.
Ah.
The baby was standing there looking at. She was looking at me like this, and the baby is probably like this tall.
Yeah.
He's standing looking at me like this, and I seen him. I was looking through the scope, and so he turns and goes like this.
Yeah.
And I could see him shiver, but he moved his hair over like this and this.
Yeah.
And he changed it into like almost like into a stump.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. I've already seen him. He was already, I've already locked into him, and the mother stepped out right behind him.
Yeah.
And she was probably like 7 feet tall, 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
And her legs were like huge, but she was like thin-based and not like people always say they're all bulky. Like she looked like a woman.
I've heard some, like skinny and athletic. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she had a big gluteus.
Yeah. Strong.
And she was like a woman's, breasts and everything else, but they were hairy here, just kind of hairy, not through here, and her face was probably right through here, but she had long hair, and yeah. Yeah. It was actually, she was quite beautiful.
Yeah.
If you really think about it that way.
Yeah. No, I've heard some other encounters too, and this one guy, he said something so funny, it cracked me up. He's like, this one looked like it came right out of the Sasquatch hair salon. Like, his hair was like perfectly brushed and, very clean. And
well, the one I seen, she was curvy.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like but she was hairy.
Yeah.
But she had a kind of a flatter face like this, like a nose, like more in.
Mm-hmm.
But she had She had big nostrils,
Yeah.
but she was like, I swear they were talking to each other too, like making sounds to each other.
Yeah.
The baby was kind of like making noise back at her.
Mm.
But anyway, that was I did that TV show with Searching for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
But we didn't do it in the spot we were because they didn't want to go to where I was at
Oh.
because it was probably like 2 miles higher than where we were at.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
How did we get to?
Yeah. Well, they're like, we can't take all that TV stuff up there. It's like, I said, well, you guys need to know exactly where this was at.
Yeah.
Because it was back farther on the opposite side, there's caverns back in there, and that's where I was. But I was telling them, like, why can't we find the structure of a Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Because they're interdimensional. They
Yeah.
travel. Like, there's voids in this world that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you about the stairway to heaven here.
Yeah.
There's pathways
Yeah.
that we don't know about, and they can travel that. Like, I don't know, they're different.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
do that too, because so when we do our dances and stuff,
Mhm.
we open that pathway, and that's why I think I get to see them a lot,
Yeah.
because sometimes I go into that, sometimes I lock into that spiritual world,
Yeah. You know how to tap into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it kind of makes me dizzy sometimes. It takes a little toll on me,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Do you think that that their abilities are our human potential that we haven't grown into yet to be able to do these things or to
I don't
unite
think-
with nature? in
I don't
such
think
a-
that we've
a
grown
way?
into. I think we've lost it.
We've lost it.
We've always had it.
Yeah.
We just don't know how to tap into that
Yeah.
because we're into that technical world now.
Yeah.
Call here, call there. When we used to have that gift at one time,
Yeah.
but we just kind of grown out of it.
Taking a different path.
Yes,
Mm.
because that's the way we get taught. We're not taught to that type of world anymore. Like the old
Yeah.
people used to live here, they were taught that. They lived it. That's what they, lived, ate, breathed, and
They're part of the land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, as we evolve, we kind of lose that spiritual part of us,
Mm.
which we all have still.
Yeah.
We just got to take the time to find it. That's why I'm putting a sauna here, because once you wipe away all that crap that's been on us, it helps open that pathway.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of things are spiritual. That's why I'm building that sauna, because I want people to come here and reopen their pathways, because it's getting lost. And not just for Hoopa people or Europe people or Crew people. I'm talking about
For the world.
all people, all human people, that
Yeah.
just because we have a different color. I mean, if I cut my skin here, open up,
Yeah.
we're the same exact person, right?
Yeah.
So,
The world needs it now more than ever.
oh yes,
That's
yes.
really apparent. So.
Well, 30 years ago, my mom goes, she talked about Donald Trump. She goes, he's going to be a president, and not a good one, she said. And the shaman said, you'll see somebody in your lifetime try to turn this world upside down and not be good no more. I mean, I don't know if it's him or, I don't know, Biden. I don't know who it is, but
That whole system, though, is
it's a whole system.
it's
Yeah,
turned
like,
everything upside down.
yeah, because we're actually sending bombs to kill people.
Yeah.
We're paying more money for these bomb makers.
Yeah.
Um,
Everyone could be fed and clothed. And
but then you have these other people on the other side that have these holy wars for so long. They've been killing each other since time for no reason.
over the same creator that they just have a different name for.
Yeah, no, that's it. It is just a different name,
Yeah.
but it's the same creator.
Yeah.
And the part about it is like, we're not. Yeah, the pathways are being lost there somewhere. Like I was telling a bunch of college kids, and I was like, because they had a bunch of stuff on Humboldt Poly out there. I said, why don't the Jews and the other people just kind of put their arms together and say, hey, we don't want this no more.
Yeah.
and they get back to their country and say, hey, we don't want this no more. We don't want to kill each other. Why are we killing each other? For what? For a piece of land that we say is holy? Isn't that holy?
Yeah, it's all holy.
Every place on this earth is holy. Every time we take a step, it's holy ground. Because this whole Mother Earth is holy. It doesn't have to be saying that you build a wall and it's holy. I mean, I can look at that ground that's here and that's holy.
Yeah.
You know? Because which it is. So everything that we breathe, live, and touch is holy ground for all of us.
Yeah.
You know? There's some places that may have a little more spirituality to it.
Mm.
But realistically, if we really think about it, every place is really very, very special and spiritual and